Good morning, everyone. And again, thank you for joining us today with holidays around the corner. We really appreciate your time and dedication. Learning something new today. So just give us a few more minutes. We'll get started just in a couple of minutes. All right, so good morning again. Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. here in Texas. My name is Yulia, and I manage strategic alliances for Ribbon. Strategic alliances for us is Microsoft #1 partner. And we will talk a little bit more about our relationship with Microsoft and how we collaborate together. And today we will be showing you how to configure from scratch our SBC instantiated in Azure and configure it with third-party SIP trunks for direct routing. I know most of you, you are solution architects, you're technical consultants, network engineers. So you guys, you know what is direct routing, but we will spend just a few more minutes to talk about it. So we explain why we decided to put together this workshop and see who would like to follow step by step those instructions that our channel engineer will walk you through. So that's why we put together this format, this workshop format as a Teams meeting. So anyone can unmute anytime. Anyone can share screen too, so we could help you troubleshoot in case if you need our help. But again, today we will be showing you how to go step by step from downloading SWE-Edge in Azure to your Azure instance, configured with third-party SIP trunks, and make the necessary configuration on the Teams side. So we have a full house today, which is great. I'll give a few more minutes other participants to join. In the meantime, could you please raise your hands if you think you will be not only in listening mode, but following step-by-step instructions? And I'm asking because we will need to create ahead of time wildcard certificates for you to upload during the instantiation. So if anyone would need that, please let us know. All right, so great, wonderful. So Jorge is our instructor today. So Jorge, while we'll spend a few more minutes about talking about direct routing and why we decided again to put this together, this webinar. So Jorge can send you certificates, so you will see an email from him in a second. So just give me a second. Thank you for keep your hands raised. So I'll just send him the list, and this way he can get your email addresses. We will also record this session, so you will have an access to it in case you need to go over some steps later. And also, so you will get this license right now for 30 days. If you need to extend it and convert it to perpetual, so you can use it in your lab and for any demo or troubleshooting purposes, just let us know. So we will help you and convert this solution to a perpetual one, free of charge. All right, so I see 12 participants raise their hands. Great. Jorge, I've sent you the list with all the participants, so you will have the emails and you can create the certificates ahead of time. And I think we can get started. If you'd like to move to the first slide. Great. All right, so today, again, thank you for joining us today. Today, we will be walking you through step-by-step of the process, how to configure SWE Edge with direct routing. But before that, just a few words about our relationship with Microsoft. And let me start recording this session. All right, so Ribbon is a merge of Sonos and GenBand. And some of you probably have heard about Sonos. So back in the day, in early 2000s, Sonos SBCs were certified with, during that time, Office Communicator, with Lync, with Skype for Business. So our PLM team did a really good job following Microsoft leads and making sure that each software version is certified by Microsoft. So we keep doing that. So fast forward to 2022, 2023, all our SBCs and products are certified with Microsoft. And we work closely to make sure we that our solution work on the platforms, latest platforms and latest releases. One of the latest additions to our family on the Microsoft side was Operator Connect support, was SVA support. So these are additional features that are available, or licenses that are available through Ribbon. And Jorge, if we can go to next slide. Again, I know that most of you you know this, but just a few words what we've seen in the industry and why we see more and more migrations to Teams from the traditional PBX environment, where our legacy TDM environment, where the offices were oriented on enabling employees to work within an office environment and making call to the office station and out, to Teams that allows enterprise and end users to work remotely and enable them to control it to and from anywhere, literally anywhere. So cloud-based solution, I'm pretty sure you see it as well, more and more requests to cloud-based solution, such as Teams. And we've seen a lot of deployments on our enterprise side. So Jorge, if we could move to the next slide. So that's basically, again, most of you know the 3 ways how you can get to Teams. You can get the call-in plans, where Microsoft, in this case, will be a carrier. It's just a tiny % of all deployments that we see with Teams. In this case, your customers would not need an SBC because, again, Microsoft is a carrier. But sometimes these call-in plans are too expensive or available in specific countries. So there are 2 other options how to get to Teams. And one of those is Operator Connect. This is when a carrier is certified, and such as AT&T, Verizon, they have their own solution. And most of the deployments we see is direct routing. So this is when your customer can use any third-party SIP trunk provider, and at their choice, they can use 2 or more SIP trunk providers, so they're not locked to specific ones. So each solution has its pros and cons, but today we will be talking about direct routing specifically when Microsoft is not PSTN provider. And in these scenarios, SBC is required. So you, on behalf of a system integrator or a provider, would help your customers and spin up an SBC so they can get an access to the SIP trunk provider's dial tone. And today, Jorge will explain you step by step how to do that. We have, as Ribbon, we have a hardware on-prem solution, and we have a virtual SBCs. Today we'll be talking about virtual one. It's an easy to spin, so no upfront cost is required for a customer from on the customer side, and it's a pretty easy process. So we've allocated 4 hours to go through the process. Again, assuming that some of you will follow these instructions and have some questions. So again, feel free to unmute anytime when you need us to slow down. Feel free to ask questions. And if we need to troubleshoot something, we can do it right away. So again, don't be shy. We want to make sure that you understand how the process flows. And again, any questions, we will do our best to respond. So I will moderate the chat, and Jorge will run the live demo. But again, any questions, just feel free to raise your hand and let us know. So Jorge, are you good to get started? Did you get the emails of those participants who is willing to follow step-by-step instructions?
Hello, everyone. Yes, Julia, I'm just finishing to copy the list to the ones that would require this. So if you can give me just another minute, I'm just about to finish.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I guess most of you will have an access to your own Teams tenant, as well as Azure, as well as Azure tenant. Is that so? Is that the correct assumption? Because yeah, good. Okay, great. All right. Okay, that's so much easier because we've done such trainings, like on-site training like that, sometimes with just traditional phone guys who don't know what Team is, so they are just used to traditional PBX environment, and we had to explain how to get the free version of E5 license and Azure so they can get started, but I think we shouldn't have problems right here. Okay, so we'll give Jorge a few more minutes to send you the certificates. So whenever it's time to upload those certificates, you will have them handy. That's why we're asking ahead of time to raise your hand so for us to know whether you will try to deploy today SBC with us, or again, some of you will be in listening mode, which is fine as well. Please feel free to use chat for any questions again, or unmute as needed. And Jorge will go as slow as possible to make sure that you have time to follow the instructions and directions. So let's see, recording available. Yes, it should be, Rawan, recording should be available at the end of session. We'll make sure that that's the case.
Okay, Julia. Thanks, everyone. I did finish doing the email list, so you might be receiving the email in a couple of minutes. So something important that Julia mentioned is I will try to explain a little bit why we're sending this first, so we're all on the same page. I understand all of you are all of you with the hand raised are following our training today. So you can actually deploy an SBC on your side and have that hosted. So I will start talking a little bit more about the complete scenario. This is a high-level diagram on how a direct routing scenario looks like hosted on the cloud. Of course, you have the Microsoft Teams side where you have the tenant connected with the phone system and the Teams client for the users. And the other side is directly the connection to the PSTN. The use of Microsoft Teams Direct Routing requires an SBC that allows that connection between Microsoft Teams servers and a SIP trunk provider. So you can actually get an external access to the PSTN. Here we are listing some of the requirements. As of course, the supported SBC. In this case, we will be using the SBC switch from Ribbon. We have, as Julia mentioned, a complete portfolio that is certified to work with Microsoft Teams. So this is just one of the solutions that we can offer. And according to the requirements of the end customer, we can actually choose a different sizing, different products. And we have pretty much a product that covers all the requirements, including also analog connections if you have that kind of scenarios with your customers. We do have products that can actually be used as gateways. So we have a solution for everyone. The next requirement is the public IP address. In this case, we are hosting this on Azure. So Azure will provide us directly a public IP. That will be not an issue at all. Here is where a little bit more tricky requirements come, like the FQDN for a name on the SBC. Microsoft Teams requires the connection with an FQDN. That means to own a domain. That's because for security reasons, including the use of TLS, Microsoft requires using an FQDN to communicate with the SBC. In this case, and for today's training, we do have a domain purchase by yourself that we can share with you. So that's the intention actually with the certificates that we just shared too. You can use those. So you will have an SBC with a domain, with a Ribbon domain today. Or that is another option. If you do have your own domain, you want to set your SBC with your own domain. If you have the access to create certificates today, that's another option for you today. We will be able to help you through all the steps, so you can have that completely set up. But does everyone would require the shared domain from Ribbon, or is any one of you using your own domain? I finished with the list, so you can lower your hand if you want, and if any one of you are using your own domain, please raise your hand so we are aware of that. Okay, perfect. So to all the other participants that will use the Ribbon domain today, there will be some information that I will need to set up on our side so you can actually use the domain and the tenant. So just on the chat, once it comes time, please let me know the information that I will be asking so I can set up everything on our side, and so you are able to use the domain and do the complete configuration. Okay. Well, first of all, it's a requirement of the Azure account. Of course, as I mentioned today, we are using the SBC hosted on Azure. So there are so many different ways to do this. The intention here is that if you already have an Azure space, you can use that. We offer our SBC directly on the marketplace. I will show you how to get into it in a moment. But in case that you don't have that access or that account today, Microsoft Azure offers always a free trial that you can use. If any one of you requires that, I can give you the link so you can go directly to that page and create your account. So,
please. So we don't have that, I believe. Can you please paste that URL on the chat, please?
yep, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so you can navigate directly to this page. This page is a landing page that I just shared. Here you will have the offer to start free the account of Microsoft Azure. The only requirement will be a credit card because you need to identify yourself. And just so you're aware of that, Microsoft allows to use only, okay, with another account. You can create a new account here. Microsoft requires the use of a credit card and you can use it only once. Even if you're creating new accounts, it will detect if the credit card, sorry, the credit card have been used before. So you will not be allowed to do that. But this is an option that you might have in case that you want to create a free account with a free trial. Any questions until right now? Is anyone creating a new account?
Yeah, you're creating. I'm creating
yes,
a new
sir.
account.
Yeah, me too. I'm creating a new account.
Okay, so what you will require is just to use the, for example, you can get a new email address if you want, or you can use your personal one. You just would need to identify yourself to create a new Azure space. And actually, second here. Okay. I'm trying to find where they have the link. Okay.
Jorge, are you looking for link to Teams free account?
Yeah, for
If
the
I-
Microsoft 365 account.
Okay, I can post it.
Here, when I'm trying to sign up, it is popping up identity verification by card. So is this the right one, sir?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, when I'm trying to sign up in the Azure free account, it is popping up saying that you need to provide your account details.
The account details. Well,
Yeah, it is actually asking me to provide the credit card or the debit card details.
yes. Again, something that Microsoft will require is a credit card to as an ID method, an identification method. So that will be required.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Jorge, and we have a question, if there is a lab guide to the process.
Well, this slides covers a little bit on what we are going to do. It just doesn't cover directly with images step by step, but you will have the points on and access to the links on what you want to do or where to go. So that would be the guide that we have.
Yeah, we'll share the slides after the training, so you will always have access to the slides. And plus, we have some documentation posted on our portal, so we can share also additional maybe links to additional documents if that's helpful, like how to configure SBCs with Teams, how to configure SBA, and things like that. And I posted the link, the sign up to Microsoft Teams E5 trial. You need a 3 or E5 trial so you can have access to voice. Or can you click the links that I've sent? That should be the one.
Yeah, I'm not getting access to it.
Yeah?
No.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, how about this one? So does this work better? Again, there's try for free button over there. You see try for free, so that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. So another option that you have if you want to create the tenant space, Julia mentioned that most of you already have a tenant where you would like to configure direct routing. That it's a good scenario if you want to keep the SBC working. But Microsoft also offers the Office 365 E5 test license. So you can actually create a new account as if you were a new company. So you can actually click on the link that Julia just shared, and you will see this landing page. Here you will have the try for free option. And with this one, it
doesn't work for you. Well, it works here in US at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's because I have already used that. So Microsoft is a little bit strict with the trials too. So as I already had the trial before, that's probably what is happening.
Okay, so for the rest, so Richard, Augusta, and Rawan, are you able to sign up to Azure free trial and to E5 free license? Are you able to do so?
Yes, my hand was up from the previous request of raise your hand if you're using your own custom domain.
Okay, so then is anyone else still trying to spin the free Office 365 license, or can we move on? Guess, Jorge, we can move forward. I don't see.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, everyone. So let me go back here. So again, on Microsoft Azure, we do offer our SBC on the marketplace. So it has a direct link to being able to create the instance. Azure offers a wizard that allows you to create a virtual machine and create the image of the SBC directly. If you go into the marketplace and go to the search bar and just type ribbon, you will actually be able to see the two options that we have, the SBC Switch and the SBC Switch Quick Launch. In this case, we'll be using the Quick Launch offer. The only difference is how manageable it's for you to do some configurations related, especially on the network side of configuration. SBC Switch, you might have a little bit more control over the interface and the subnets that will be on the SBC. But the intention of the quick launch is that after running the wizard, you will have directly the SBC without worrying if you have already a network on Azure, if you have the interfaces being there beforehand. So that's pretty much the difference. The image will be the same and the SBC configuration will be also the same.
Yeah, and I posted the link, so you can just click the link that will bring you straight to the marketplace offer.
Okay. So you are aware of that. Once we are on the Azure landing page, this is a little bit of what you would see. Some resources if you have used the account before. If not, you will be seeing this pretty much empty. But the thing that we want to go here, it's under the Azure services into the marketplace. If you don't see that here on the landing page, you can always go to more services. And here you can just look for the marketplace option.
Jorge, can you share this link, please? Because I think this is on the Azure side, right? It's not the marketplace, it's on the Azure side.
Yeah, well, this is directly going into the portal of Azure. So this is what you will see once you go directly in there. So you need to navigate into Marketplace. Here you can search for Ribbon. And here we have the SBC Switch Quick Launch. So the last page I was showing is this one with information about the instance. You will have some quick overview on what we are offering here. A little bit more details on what's happening, the plans that you might have, a little bit just information about that. This is one fund only. Basically, what it's giving you is a SBC image with a free 30-day trial license, so you are actually able to test the SBC directly. As Julia mentioned, if you are willing to keep the SBC, we can always work directly with you, so you can get the free environment with permanent trial licenses. Okay, so it's everyone in this page now.
If you need more time, just raise your hand if you need more time. Otherwise, we will keep going.
Okay, so now here, okay, just I will give a little bit more time for Mahesh again, I think.
What is the main difference between the Sui Edge and the Quick Launch, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, the main difference is on how much control you would have over the configuration of the virtual machine regarding the instances and interfaces required on it. Quick Launch will generate automatically a new set of interfaces and subnets, so you don't need to worry pretty much on what is going to be used. The switch option only will require you to configure directly and beforehand the interfaces. You can use a previously used network on Azure, and it takes a little bit more time, but you have more control. It's just that the Quick Launch will give you, after the wizard, directly a working instance.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
If
Does
you
anyone
use
have-
the quick launch, can you go back and reconfigure it manually, for your own subnets and whatnot?
Yeah, you can always go back into Azure and also into the SB6 configuration to do that modifications.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else has any other questions or needs more time?
Question. Do you have a list of the required security policies for this software to run on Azure that need to be enabled?
Well, running the quick launch directly will create all the security. I think it's called security groups. It will create automatically all the security groups with a list of ports that are required to be allowed to communicate with it, and also with the ports required for SIP communication. And so it will create all that kind of security features. I can try to look. I'm not sure if we do have that listed. I think we do, but that comes directly out of the wizard. And yeah, we can look for that on our documentation.
Yeah, I just looking for documentation, not just on what it creates, but what it uses in terms of not just on network, but the virtual machine itself, how it accesses memory, the disk, etc. Because I've tried to use this software for a few enterprises before, and they've always gotten hung up on the architecture with the security side of it before we could roll it out. So if you could provide that, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, we can look for that. Okay. Wait, anyone else needs more time? Richard Eddie, I see your hand raised only. Do you require more time?
I think that was from previous question, but
I
let's see
just wanted to make sure.
answers. Oh, I guess we can keep going, Jorge.
Okay, sure. So in order to create the instance in Azure, we just need to click on Create button here once we are under the Marketplace option for Ribbon. This will this takes us into a configuration page, 5 tabs. On the first one, we need to assign names for resource groups that we will be creating. Again, this wizard will automatically create all the instances and resources on Azure so it can get the SBCA working. You can always use a previously one that you have previously had configured, but I'm sorry. I will always also create a new one in case that I want to get that separate into the other any other information that I have on Azure. For example, I will call mine today training DR. It will ask us for some region. Of course, this is related to where will it be located on the servers of Microsoft. So you have the closest region for you on server perspective. I will leave this as East US for now. I'm sorry. And the name that you want to give to the virtual machine. The name you want to give to the virtual machine on Azure. I will change this to training DRVM. You can always leave it with the default names if you want. And here, the last entry is quite important. In this case, Azure has different sizings for the virtual machines that are related to the number of simultaneous sessions that are able to handle on the cloud. So it's important to know that these numbers are actually related to the number of encrypted sessions that can be handled on the SBC. So the maximum number is 480 simultaneous sessions encrypted. We are communicating with Microsoft, so that all the calls from Microsoft will be encrypted and will be using TLS. So that's the maximum number of sessions that can be hosted on cloud. Here also you see the name of the virtual machine instance that will be created according to that, to the sizing of that, of the number of sessions that we'll be handling. In this case, I will go for the first option that can handle from 1 to 10 simultaneous sessions, just because of the sizing of the trial. And after that, I can just click next. Something important to notice is that, as you see here, this wizard creates new instances pretty much for many of the required configuration. That's why we call actually it quick launch. Pretty much by default, you will be having new instances with automatically selected names, as in the case of general settings section. The diagnostic storage account, it's by default created as a new, and a provisional name is given to it. So with this, I'm not changing anything. I just click on next. For network settings, something similar happens. As the question before, this is mainly the difference between this quick launch and the other offer that we have that is only switch. In this case, automatically Azure gives us subnets directly, so we are not worrying about creating or modifying anything. It provides automatically an internal subnet. Actually, I'm not modifying anything in here. I just will click on next, but so you're aware, you can always go ahead and also choose subnets previously created on the Azure space. But again, one thing from this quick launch is that you will have by default new instances created, and you don't need to worry about these instances pretty much for anything. Does anyone have any questions here? Okay, so I just will click on next. And this last part is quite important, SBC switch settings. Here we will be setting the username and password that we will be using to access for the first time to the SBC management interface, as well as some configuration on the DNS hostname and domain. So something we recommend here is to always have a text editor on hand, because if you don't have this information, or if you lose this information, you basically will lose the access to your SBC. The SBC switch doesn't have any kind of CLI access, so it is based completely on the web interface application. So if you lose these credentials, you will not be able to access to the SBC, and the only workaround would be to delete the instance and create a new one. So something we would recommend is you have a notepad, a text editor on one side, so you can actually type down your information and copy and paste directly onto the fields. For example, my username will be Jorge, that's just my name. And as password, I will use ribbon and some numbers. Okay, didn't copy it. So you're aware of that. Azure has some requirements according to the password. So as long as you fill out those requirements, you will be able to set the password. Programmatic REST API, even if the SBC doesn't have a CLI directly, it allows the use of REST API for configuration, but it requires a special user. So you have the option here to enable it, and that would give you the option to create the credentials for it. In this case, I will not use it. And you are always able to create these credentials on the SBC once it is up and running. So you can actually enable the REST API later if you will need it. But for now, I just will leave this as disabled. For the management terminal, right now there is a wildcard that means that pretty much anyone will be able to access to the interface to reach the graphical user interface of the SBC. So I will leave it like that just for now. And for hostname and domain name, we will be using for the ones that will be using our domain that I mentioned before, it is rbbnlab.com. So I'm just copying it on the chat too. And well, the host name, if you can have something with your name, for example, that's because I will be using that also for the domain configuration. Of course, to joining together the host and the domain name, that will be the FQDN of your SBC. I will set, for example, here training DR. So for the ones that are using the domain RBBN lab that we will be given, if you can type down the domain you choose to use on the chat, I will be using that later to set up. But wait a minute, because we will need to set up also the public IP. So if you can give me the domain, the host, and the IP that Azure will provide you together, that would be helpful. Okay, anyone has any questions at this point?
I have missed the previous slide related to the network settings and general settings.
Yep, sure. Again, one thing that from the quick launch is that it will automatically and by default generate new instances. So you don't need to worry pretty much about anything on the networking side of Azure. It will give you directly a new subnet for the interfaces that we'll be creating. So you can leave as by default all the configuration that the wizard is providing to you.
Okay. Would you mind taking me one more time to the general settings, please? To the general settings.
The general settings. Yeah, it happens pretty much the same. Yes, you can leave general settings and network settings just by default.
Okay.
And
well, the basic settings changed, right? Only the basics. The basics tab, under the basics tab.
Yeah, this will be only, and the more important thing here is you need to choose a correct sizing for the purposes that you will be using the SBC. Again, this tells you how many simultaneous encrypted sessions will be supported by the SBC. In this case, as we are using only the trial, I will leave this as the lowest virtual machine capacity. If you are using this out of a trial, that means you're already paying for the subscription on Azure. Remember that bigger the virtual machine, also it will increase the price on how much you will pay for. You will be invoiced from Azure.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the DNS host name, or if we're using our own domain, are we just putting that in as the host name, or
yes,
are we putting that for the domain name?
Yeah, you can. Here is the domain that will be used by the SBC for identification. So if you're using your own domain, just put that under your domain name.
Okay,
If
are we
you-
supposed to put in the fully qualified domain name like sbc.domainname.com or just the domain name?
just the domain name and the first part of that FQDN would be under the host name. The complete FQDN that the SBC will be identified for, or the complete FQDN that we'll be sharing, is the host name plus the domain name. So in my case, with this configuration, once it needs to share something about its FQDN identification, it will send trainingdr.rpbnlab.com. So joining host and domain.
Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So it would be like this, for example, correct? It would be if we name the host name SBC3, and then the domain name would be whatever we have for our custom domain name, correct?
Yes.
Understood. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, after that, the last step here is just a review from Azure. It will validate the information that you don't miss any kind of required information. And if everything works, you will not have any kind of error. You will have an overview on what did you configure on each one of the steps. And you can just create the instance. Click here on the bottom, create. It will initiate the deployment. So you will have some a page like this one. We will need to provide a couple of seconds, minutes, so it gets the SBC up. Okay, so just to overview again a little bit on what we did. Once you are on the SBC offered on my marketplace, you can go directly to create option to create the virtual machine. You would only need to fill out some information on each one of the pages. There are some of them that you can leave as default provided by the wizard, especially on the networking settings. It's like the offer that we have here. If you can see here, I have actually more interfaces created on this slide. That's because we choose a different sizing on the required number of simultaneous calls, coming from the basic one into this second option. Actually generates a new interface that can be used for the traffic on the SBC. So according to the sizing of your virtual machine, you will have also a higher capacity on the interfaces. Okay.
I'm getting a failure in the general settings with creating the diagnostic storage account.
Okay, you're using a newly created account on Azure, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes for Microsoft it takes a little bit more time to like sync everything up, but I think we do have a workaround for that. Give me 1 second. Can you share your screen so I can take a look on what it's the error that you're having?
You bet.
It's cool. Neat.
Maybe it's a firmware version. Remember, Jorge, we had this issue with one of the previous releases. Maybe that's the case.
No, that's not
No?
related to the release or to the SBC. This is one issue for the new created accounts. I don't know if you remember, we saw that before. That has a quite weird workaround to get that over. I'm just trying to find the. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Or it was the one with Azure,
Yes.
Azure related. And Scott, bear with us. There is a workaround to this issue. I've seen that before.
Well, I don't have that right now, but where was it? I'm pretty sure that I had that.
Is anyone else having the same issue with general setting?
Yeah, I do have the same, but I try to create the storage and I am also trying from the other ways.
Okay. Okay, Nelson is good. Okay. Just give us a few more minutes to, not minutes, hopefully, a few more seconds. Okay, Rowan is good. Okay. Let's see if we can resolve it quickly. On the worst case scenario, you will be able to troubleshoot it if you see this type of thing in the future. Or here you're trying to get the workaround done, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm trying to get it. I think I just found it, but give me 1 second.
Yeah, even I'm getting again the same error that is failing under general settings.
I'm just sharing my screen just to show you the workaround what I did.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
you can
Jorge.
s-
Jens, what
Yeah.
created one diagnostic storage account?
Yeah, so I just selected there while doing the deployment. So if you can see here, it is now deploying. Once it's done, you can see. I will just show you. Yeah, this is the temporary storage which I have created. And at the time of deployment, I have selected this one there. So it's went on.
And what is the option that you have selected?
Okay, I will just show you the one more one. Just need to go here, all resources, and here on create. Storage account. Okay, create. And just select here, retry, and I give some name. I have given like this Teams tier 3, and the
Okay.
name here, something Teams best something, and standard. And I have given the local redundant storage. And next, and review, and you can just save it. That's it.
Okay, so after creating the storage account, we have to
Yeah.
do it one
Yeah.
more time. Like,
No. Once you created this, while doing the deployment, you have to select the storage account where you are now getting the error. So if you select there this account, then it will work.
okay.
Jorge, is it similar to your workaround?
Yeah, I think so. Mine was a little bit more crazy, I think, because actually you needed to try to deploy something that fails, but after that, Azure just run it with no problem. Just not finding where I have that.
So do you think if they create this secondary storage account, that would work?
Yeah,
And-
probably it would.
So which is the scenario that you suggest everyone to follow? Are you trying to replicate your scenario or the one that we just seen?
Oh, well, I didn't have any kind of issue right now. So if you can try the workaround shared by, I think it was just one, right?
Yeah, sure. So I think that worked for me, and I can get the screen as well. That's the starting.
Okay, perfect. So we can give a couple of seconds more for that. So we can continue, or
Yeah, you can continue. I can help Mahesh to do this from the backend.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
Great.
So after the deployment is complete, as we saw before, you will have this your deployment is complete option page, and you will have a list of all the resources that was created by it. We can go to the virtual machine. Again, quick launch is because we want this SBC to get this SBC working as easy as possible, and that includes the use of only one public IP to access to the SBC. Again, this can be modified later during the configuration, but right now, what you have here on the network settings is two interfaces, one for MGT named and one for PAT0. The intention for this quick launch is to use, again, just one IP. So by default, the configuration of the SBC will make the connection to be available only through the PKG0 as interface. actually, if you try to turn off the virtual machine for a moment, you will have a pop-up window that will tell you that you might lose the public IP of MGT interface. That's because only the PKT0 interface will be a static public IP. That's why we recommend to use that for the test and lab, because you will be using just one for accessing the SBC interface and the signaling. So I will copy my public IP from PKT0 again. So now for the ones that are using the RBBN lab domain, if you can send me the information of your SBC like this, the host name and the public IP that was given to you, I will work on setting that under the DNS. So for example, I will use my public IP. We'll navigate through it. This is just a connection not private warning. And continue. And here I have the access to my SBC. Everyone is able to access?
Yeah, I was about to ask if everyone else is able to see the same screen. Manesh and Janswal, are we good? Raman,
Yeah,
Nelson, you guys are?
Yes, ma'am. So I just completed the storage account deployment.
Mhm.
Okay, and Nelson and Raman, are you guys still with us? Are you still trying to follow the steps? Okay, great. Okay, Jorge, I guess we can go on.
Yeah, so next step is to add, I will add the FQDN into the public domain. So, okay. What I will do is just copy my host name. This is we have the domain purchased by GoDaddy, so I'm using their interface to add the domain into and assign it the public IP. So for the ones that are using your own domain, this is the next step that you can take. And again, the ones that are using RBBN Lab domain, please let me know your host name and the public IP that was provided to you. Again, that should be the PKT0 interface. And if you need to check it again, it's under the virtual machine. You have the network settings. And you just need to select the correct interface, PKT0 in this case. And here you will have the public IP.
Or you want participants to post it in the chat so you can have access to it, or email you?
Yes, please. Yes, please. The chat is okay.
Okay.
By the way, can you confirm if you get the email for the certificates?
I guess Jorge is asking everyone who raised their hands at the very beginning when we were asking about certificates. He sent you the certificates via email. Could you please confirm you've got it?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Augusta, do you have a question? I see you raised your hand. No, okay. All right. Okay, Jorge, we can move on.
Okay. So after you get the FQDN, you should be able actually to access into the interface with that too. So I'm just copying my FQDN here.
I see Richard is trying to catch up with us. So Richard, where are you right now?
Yeah,
You
I'm
cannot
way behind.
mute.
Don't wait for me, guys. Sorry, my internet went down in my home office, so I had to go to a coffee shop. So I'll review the recording and play catch up here in the background.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, what we did, we instantiated SWE-Edge in Azure, follows the basic instructions that Jorge provided. And now we are on the second stage, configuring with a domain. Right. Well, and anyways, we will be sending the record, and we had a little bit of a troubleshooting in the middle, so we'll be sending the recording and the slides so you can try and replicate. But now they're creating so they're providing Jorge with public IPs so he can create the certificates or additional details. Rawan, I see you raise your hand.
If we're using our own domain, do we need to create our own certificate? Because I'm assuming the certificate in the email is not going to work because it's associated to that wildcard domain.
Yes, correct. If you are using your own domain, that will also require you to sign the certificate with that domain too.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, just that is not working right now. Okay. We'll continue in a minute. Okay, thank you, Nelson, for your IP. What is the house name that you choose to have on your SBC? Just SWE-Lite?
Yeah, I didn't change the name. I just used it. Well, it was default.
Okay, let me see. The problem with that is I think we're already using.
Oh, you are?
I
I
think
can
so.
delete it. I can recreate it.
Yeah. We can modify that in a minute. No problem.
You can?
So,
Okay, I'll just
yes.
leave it
We can. So you are able to access into this screen, right? Using the
I'm able to
PTC
change the
interface.
password and sign in.
That's perfect. Actually, that's next step. The first time that you log into this SBC, you will be required to change your password. That's again for security reasons.
Yeah, and
You will
I'm able to sign into the device.
Okay, that's good. So everyone here also are able to change the password. No problem with that. After you do the password modification and you log in again with a new password, this is the actual interface of the SBC and where you can configure that. If you're not familiar with this SBC, the interface is divided in 5 groups, 5 tabs. You have monitor, tasks, settings, diagnostics, and systems. Each one of them provides you different action or information. For example, if you want to see information about your SBC, the usage of memory, what version is it in, serial number, you will have that all over the system information tab. Okay, for changing that host name, settings tab is where you might spend most of the time doing the configuration. You have on the left side this folder-based menu where you can navigate through all these sections. In this case, to modify the host name, you need to go into the system folder, node level settings option. So here is the hostname and domain name configured on the wizard. We can modify that. So again, this is something that you can do here. So Nelson, if you want to, if you can modify the hostname.
Jorge, I think also Nelson posted a screenshot of his.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Credentials?
the information of the system.
and
So we
then
need to modify that.
go to node level settings
Yes,
and then change the host name there.
yes, correct.
Okay.
Once you change that, just click on apply. So the change of the configuration is done.
Okay, I changed it. And here's my new name.
Are there serve records involved here? Like for the realm?
I'm sorry?
The DNS SRV records, are they necessary at all for the interfaces between teams and
Yeah,
the SIP trunks?
yes. I'm sorry. 1 second.
What should the DNS name be to use your DNS?
Well, in this case, I need you to provide the information of the public interface so I can add it into our DNS records. And yes, Microsoft Teams requires the use of an FQDN, and then so you would need the domain and the host name.
Right. What's the domain name I need to put in there so I can send you so I can get all this part configured here?
Okay. It's a host name.
rvbnlab.com. Okay.
Yep.
RVBN for the lab. And please provide me with the host name that you choose.
Okay.
Thanks, Nelson. That should work.
Awesome.
Okay.
Are there any instructions to catch back up?
From what stage? Was it Aaron?
Yeah.
Aaron, where are you right now? At what stage?
I don't have the ribbon fired up.
Okay, you got the instance running in Azure?
I do not. Was there
Okay.
instruction for that portion, or did you just do it together? I had another call come in and I had to hop over.
Right. Jorge, maybe we could send everyone the slides with detailed instructions of the steps that you went through. And so then Richard and Aaron could try to catch up.
Yeah, sure. Do you mind if I send it to you so you can forward it?
Yeah, let's do that.
That'd be great. Thanks.
if we're going to create our own certificate for our own domain name, do we go into SBC certificates and generate SBC Edge CSR?
Yeah, I can show you that right now. So there are two ways to go into the certificate section of the SBC. The first one is under the settings, and the other one is under the task tab. The SBC offers what we call an easy setup, SBC easy setup. So you have here the easy configuration wizard for configuration on the SBC on how to handle some common scenarios with templates, and the certificate section. Here you have all the tabs for that. So you have trusted CAs to upload root and intermediate certificates. As you said, generate CSR to create the CSR to get it into the certification authority. Common name, here you should put the complete FQDN of your SBC, and we'll fill out some information for that. After you click on OK, you will get the information to create the TXT file for the certificate authority. So yes, for the
Do we
ones
need to
that
put
are
all the
using your own
information, or do
domain.
we just need the common name?
I think there are just the common name information is the only one required. If you want to put other information there, that will be up to you. I don't see that as required information.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Jorge, could you please send me your updated slides so I can share with the rest of the folks who are trying to catch up? And we'll see if we have some time at the end of the training. So maybe we could do that and answer the question and get back to the steps that somebody missed. Because again, we allocated 4 hours. We observed if we are doing this training just straight without any questions and deviations, and we could do it in 1 hour. But again, we spent some time preparing and talking about direct routing and troubleshooting some issues. So we right now 1 hour and a half almost, but we still have time. I'm hopeful we will be done by like in 1.5 hours or so. So we'll have another hour to go over the questions and maybe set up real quick something for those of you who missed the major part. So Jorge, I'm waiting for you to send me the details, right now.
I just sent the slides.
Thank you.
By the way, Julia, I'm sorry, I didn't notice when I mute myself, but did you hear me when I explained a little bit on how to get into the certificates, or was I talking on mute?
I don't know. Was it the same time when I was talking?
No.
Oh, before? I think so, but let's see.
Okay, I will I will just repeat that again, no problem. The question was about the generate CSR to get the certificates for the ones that are using their own domains. The option is to go into the task tab. We have the easy setup option, certificate section. We will be using the easy configuration wizard in a moment. For now, the certificate section will allow you to generate the CSR to get that with your certification authority, get it signed, and pretty much everything else. Oh, I think yeah, I get some feedback. So yes, I was not on mute. So. Okay, so I think I don't have any other new information. Yes, I do. Okay, I'll have this. set this new record. Okay, for the ones that gave me your public IP, I think you should be able right now to access using your FQDN as I'm doing here. So we'll just log out for now. Okay, thanks, Mahesh. I'm adding it right now.
So, I'm sorry, sir. I just missed some of the parts. So, what is next steps, or what would next steps? Is it like installing the certs onto the device, or?
Yeah, we haven't continued yet with that. We are just setting up the DNS records right now, so you can actually access the SBC through the FQDN. But yeah, I'm just about to talk about that. I think pretty much everyone it's out on that now. So with the intention to show you a little bit on how the error management would look like here, instead of installing certificates first, I will go directly to do the easy configuration wizard. That is access to the interface under the task tab. Again, system is a setup, and we offer what we call easy config wizard. This is a configurator, automated configuration that considers some common scenarios and templates, as connecting a SIP trunk with Microsoft Teams, with IP phones that are registered into the SBC, with an IP PBX. So those are common scenarios that we have templates for under this easy setup wizard. For this training, we will be using the SIP trunk configuration with Microsoft Teams. Scenario description will label all the instances created. So I just will go with a DR for direct routing. And SIP session is the number of channels that will be available, the number of simultaneous sessions that will be able to handle. In this case, you can put whatever number you want, up to 960. But again, the trial license will include only 5 simultaneous sessions, so I will leave it as that, 5 simultaneous sessions. The SBC, even if it has more sessions configured, more channels available, if it is not licensed for that, it just will not be able to handle the call and will drop it. Okay.
What other limitations are there right there besides if you are licensed?
If you're licensed, well, you have pretty much that. That could be under, yeah, that would be bandwidth, the number of simultaneous sessions. If you are using encrypted sessions, or for example, the configuration that you would have on the SIP trunk for a specific protocol, for example, if the SIP trunk is not configured to allow any specific kind of traffic, it will not allow it and just will drop it.
Oh, class of service or differentiated services, or you mean something like that?
Yeah, for example, if any server is offering any kind of secure connection, but that SIP trunk is not configured to allow secure connection, it just will not recognize that traffic and will not handle it.
Gotcha. And then the codecs, what codecs are default in here? The G711 or 729, or do you choose those on? Okay.
Yeah, I can show you a little bit later once the default codec list is created. I can show you where you can find that. Okay, so next step, it's the SIP trunks also have some templates for common SIP trunk providers as AT&T, Twilio, Verizon. So if you don't see the SIP trunk that you want to use, you can always go to other SIP trunk that has some pretty basic and common configuration. And for Microsoft Teams, we're using Teams Direct Routing. So with that said, we can just click on next. And here we will need to select information about the Ciptron provider and some additional information to connect with Microsoft Teams. So first thing here is that by default, you on the other Ciptron, you will have the option to connect two border elements. That means to have two FQDNs, two IPs to communicate with the provider. In this case, we will be using just one, so I will disable the second one. Here you select which protocol you want to use, UDP or TCP. And if you want to use a different port number for SIP than the default one, it's 5060. I will left it just like the default 5060. And for the Ciptron configuration, we work with PureIP to get a working Ciptron that actually is able to get access into the public PSTN, and we have some DIDs so that we will be able to use later. We have that centralized in this SBC. So I'm just copying it on the chat. So please fill this information of border element with that FQDN, sbc3light.rbbnlab.com. That is the SBC that will allow the connection to the public PSTN for you. Under the Microsoft Teams direct routing information, you can actually leave pretty much everything by default. You just select the interface that you want to use, connection type, in this case, standalone direct connection, it's okay. We don't want to apply an ACL right now. And the only information left here is the public and not public IP. That's because the SBC will, by default, always share the private IP of the interfaces. The NATing is done on Azure directly, not on the SBC right now. The SBC will have only private interfaces for now. So I will just copy my public IP again and paste it under the NAT public IP. For Microsoft Teams, I see this TLS. I'm using the default 5061 ports. I can click on next. And the step 3 is just a review on all that information that I just put into it. Any questions? Everyone on the same page?
For the NAT public IP, are we supposed to put in that IP address or our virtual machine IP address?
That should be the public IP address of PKG0, the one that Azure
PKG0.
provided. Yes, the one that you just used to access to the SBC.
I think we had a question from Rawan, but Rawan, do you still have the question? You raised your hand?
No, that answered it. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. And Nelson, you have a question?
Oh, yeah. Can you show step 1 again?
Yep, sure. Okay, that just deleted my configuration. Again,
Yep.
the application, it's what template you want to use. In this case, we will go from Ciptron to Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
The number of sessions. Scenario description, you can see it as a label because all the instances created will have that on the beginning of the name. I will show you in a minute. But basically, it will identify all the instances created by these wizards.
Okay. And then step 2.
Information about the connection to the Ciptron provider. In this case, please use this FQDN as the Ciptron provider. That's an SBC that we host you that has the connectivity to the PSTN.
Okay. Standalone, dynamic, false. And I don't have a NAT. What is my NAT address?
NAT address is the public IP that Azure gives you on the PKD0 interface. So that will be the same one where you are connecting into to the SBC.
Okay.
Azure has a private network that is actually the IP that the SBC knows and the one that is configured right now on its interface. And Azure does the NATing with the public address. And that's the public address that gave you. I think I forgot to show you this, but under this same interface, you can actually see all the network security group information that by default comes with the access for the interface on the management side and for the signaling and media ports that you can use actually to communicate with the SBC, and you can always modify those values under the Azure instance too. Anyone has any other question? Or if I click on next again, step 3 is just the overview. Okay, I will click on finish. Pop up that I will do the configuration on the SBC. I will click on OK. Okay, and now the SBC is configured. If you go to settings tab, now you will see a lot of new entries here, like the Disco routing tables, transformation, signaling groups. So all of those things are now configured in there. If you remember, I mentioned something about the description that can be used as a label. On the top of the menu, if I look for that, what I wrote in there, you will see a lot of entries here created with that description at the beginning. All of these names are the instances created by the wizard. So you mentioned which codecs are supported here. Under media folder, you will see all the codecs that are directly created. And the media list that is used to communicate with teams, it's under a little bit down under the media profile, media list folder, and here you see the codecs that are shared with Microsoft Teams. And the other entry is the codecs that are shared with the Ciptran provider. So there you can actually modify the codecs that you want to use, edit or remove any of them.
Aaron,
Again,
does
that's-
it answer your question about codecs? Or Jorge, or there was a different place you were going to show codecs?
No, actually, I just did collapsal, so it doesn't look too messy.
Mhm.
Again, it's under the settings tab, media folder, media list, and there you have both entries created. Any questions right now?
That's the top to bottom priority, the silk being the number one, basically.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about earlier, is the codecs. Yeah, thank you. I was able to follow the instructions and yeah, also, thanks for the instructions, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Sure.
Okay, so one last step here on the configuration will be navigate into the signaling groups folder and go to border elements. Right now, by default, the wizard doesn't have this, and we will work on adding it. But as this instance is on the cloud and is NATed by Azure, we need to set the NAT information here. So it will always share on the signaling the public IP, so the other servers and endpoint can actually reach the public IP interface. If not, it will share always the internal IP, and of course, there will not be any way that other servers can actually reach back the traffic.
Is there
Okay,
is there
so-
something unique about the SIP trunk versus any other SIP trunk interconnect? I mean, what's different about the SIP trunk?
Yes, the SIP trunk and the SBC has an IP-based selection. So on the bottom of both signaling groups, you will have this called federated IP FQDN.
Yeah.
Here the SBC will have listed what servers can communicate with that specific signaling group. For example, for this IME border element, that means the SIP trunk provider.
Yeah.
Here I have listed this IP. So any traffic that comes into the SBC from this server automatically will choose this signaling group for the configuration. If I open the Microsoft Teams one, it does have the domain, the subnetworks, the subdomains from Microsoft. These are directly from Microsoft documentation. So those are the subnets used by Microsoft Teams for phone system. And again, this is the one that the SBC will use to split the traffic into the correct configuration.
Okay.
Any other question for that?
I think we have question from Ravan.
In the real world, when you're configuring this for customers, how is it usually done, just by hand, or do like service engineers go through the quick deployment and then they do their customizations in terms of what else they need to change for any custom configurations? If that question makes sense, sir.
Yes. Well, usually the configuration wizard allows you to do a basic configuration. Actually, it will also gives you a basic routing engine. I will cover that in a moment. But what is recommended is that the wizard actually generates all these like specific instances for each one of the sites of the traffic. And then you can manually come into the configuration and perform any kind of specific requirement changes that you might have. And also, for example, if you want to communicate not only these two elements, Teams and a SIP trunk provider, but you want to communicate also PBX, for example, after using the wizard, it will be easier to just add the instances for this third party and do any kind of a specific configuration of the transformation and routing engines. So you can always do this from scratch and all by hand, but I mean, you will have all this information directly done with the wizard. So usually they do that and done any specific modifications for any specific scenario that the end customer might have.
Understood. Thank you so much, sir.
You're
If I have
welcome.
if I have an existing deployment, can I run the wizard, or will it overwrite the old programming?
Actually, yes, you can run it. It will just create new instances again with all that specific information that you have. There is something, to be honest, there is something I need to check because last time I was checking with this, one partner did have a quite old SBC that I wanted to use with this same steps, but they did not have access to the AC configuration wizard. So I'm not sure why that didn't happen. I need to confirm if that is because of the time the SBC was up, or if because of there was already some heavy configuration in there and they deleted it, something like that. But as long as you have access to the AC config wizard, you can run it, and it will create always new instances.
And does the wizard do easy configuration for a Teams interface behind a NAT?
Yes. Actually, you can choose to use the wizard to configure only one side of the scenario, as I'm doing here, just in Microsoft Teams. And if I go into the next, you will see only the information for that specific site. The only difference is that no routing engine will be created. So you will have all the instances for the team side, but you will need to build a routing engine by your own. Okay, so something we need to add into this configuration again, it's please go to Settings tab, Signaling Groups and Border Element. Scroll down until you see the CIP details table. First thing is change the signaling media source IP into the Ethernet one. You can have it in auto, but we highly recommend to always have a specific interface selected. And the other one is the static NAT information for outbound. I'm changing that from static NAT node to static NAT. And again, I will need to copy and paste my public IP. I just will click on apply on the bottom of all that. And that should be it. So something I wanted to show you and why we didn't add the certificates yet is because I wanted to show you this. Under Monitor tab, you will have a list of the signaling groups that you have configured, including a graphic on the available channels on each one of them. And you will see also the status of it. For example, right now, as we don't have the security certificates, Team Zero routing signaling groups down. If I click on the over that LED, it will take me out actually into the configuration of that signaling group. And on the bottom, you will have a list of all the alarms that you would have, including the severity of it, the source of that alarm, when did that occur. And if you open one of them, you will have more information about that specific alarm. In this case, for example, is a TLS handshake failure. You will have information about it, why did it happen, invalid certificate. Of course, we don't have any site certificate right now here. You will have where it is coming from. So this is a Microsoft Teams server actually. So we can identify this as a TLS issue in there. So that's what I wanted to show you and how it looks like. To upload the certificates now, we can go into Task tab, Easy Setup, and Certificate section. So the files that I shared, okay, here is it. You will have these four files into the email that I share with the ones that requested it. So you have 3 certificates here and 1 TXT with information for the password on the PFX or wildcard certificate. First, we need to upload the root and intermediate certificates. Those are under this sectigo.p7b file. So under trusted CAs, the first arrow is for imports. This will open this pop-up. And you will have 2 options. First one is to copy and paste the certificate information of the file. And you can change that to file upload, where you will be able to browse in your computer for that specific file. That's what I will do. Oh, no, it's this one. So it's not selected. Oh, it's not selected. And I just click on OK. Okay. Now I have my certificate there. Now, the other one that we need to upload in this same section, Trusted CAs, will be the DigiCert Global Root G2. That is from Microsoft. That's a requirement from Microsoft to being able to communicate with them. So no matter if you are using your own CA provider, you need to have also the DigiCert Global Root G2 to being able to communicate with Microsoft Teams servers. Okay, there you go. Now that both of these certificates are uploaded, I can now upload the primary certificate, that is the one with the hostname for my SBC. For the ones that sign the certificate on your own, you can import it as an X.509 signed certificate. You will be able to just select the file again and upload it. For the ones that are using our wildcard, that should be done under the PKCS 12 certificate and key. That's just because the certificate was generated outside the SBC, and you will need the password to match it with the file that you are uploading, as it also has a key in it. So I will browse until I get the PFX file, Ribbon Lab 2 PFX. And again, on the TXT file, there you will have the password. I click on OK. This will import the certificate. And there you go. Now you will have the common name there. Does anybody have issues or questions?
I generated my
Raul?
own certificate, and I got the new certs that you sent in the email to upload the DigiCert that's needed. But when I did the certificate and I generated the CSR file, what am I supposed to upload? The .pem?
Yes. After you get it signed, you would have it as a .pem, as a .ser. We allow all this these file types to be uploaded as the certificates. So once you get it signed from your CA, you just need to import it as an X.509 server certificate, so you can have that directly.
Okay, and what I did was I went into my domain name and put the TXT, and on the certificate side it said it was active, and I was able to download the .pem. So I would just do the import for the X.509. You're saying, right?
Yeah.
Do I need to upload anything else besides the .pem, or is that the only thing I need to upload?
Well,
I did the
to being
DigiCert
able
already.
Okay, to being able to upload the primary certificate, you need to have the root and intermediate first on the trusted CAs.
I'm a little bit confused. Can you explain that?
Yeah, usually when you sign the certificate with a certification authority, it will give you back a bundle of root and intermediate certificates and your certificate signed. So in this case, for example, to being able to upload my primary certificate, I need to get the root and intermediate from user trust.
Okay, could I share my screen, because I do have a bundle? I just want to make sure I'm uploading the right file.
Yeah, sure.
So I downloaded the bundle, and then this is what I got from it. And I have well, first I have the PEM itself, and then I got a bundle cert, and it included this with trusted root, all this CRT. So what would be the exact one I need to upload in order?
Okay, so under the trusted CAs, you need to upload this DigiCert CA and trusted root.
Under the trusted CAs, I did the DigiCert already. That's right there. And then the other one was which one I would want to upload?
And
trusted root.
Where did you get that DigiCert? Sorry, from the
DigiCert.
bundle we sent, right?
Bundle Wizard and DigiCert.
Okay, so go
It's my
back
own
to the
certificate.
one. Yeah, go to the bundle you got.
Yes.
You will need to upload two here: the DigiCert CA again and the trusted root.
Okay, so upload this one, and then I probably have to do it one at a time, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Duplicate common name.
Okay, that seems to be the same one. Okay. Are you using the cert too?
I'm using DigiCert, that's correct. For my
Okay,
own.
I think that I think that should be it.
This is the one I created from DigiCert. And then I just went in and download certificate as more options, and then I did the bundle.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that should be the same one that Microsoft required. So you would let's try to upload the primary certificate now.
Okay, so that would be the 508 and then upload the PEM.
Yeah.
How about trusted root? Jorge, he didn't upload trusted root in the previous one.
No.
Or it's now?
Yeah.
Is it now? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
It's just like it's used the same one as a Microsoft that is required from Microsoft. So he already had that.
Okay,
So
so
you
don't
would
worry about the trusted
upload
root.
that. Yeah. No,
Okay.
no. Go back to your bundle.
Oh, okay.
I mean on the primary certificate.
Yes, the bundle. Oh, sorry, too many
Yeah, no problem.
folders. This one, sorry, this one. This was the bundle.
Yeah. So this is the signed certificate now. So you will need to upload that SBC3, that cert. Okay.
Okay, would I do that in
the
the
second one.
primary or trusted?
And primary.
Okay, so import this one, correct? The 509?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
SBC3. Local issuer certificate. Okay, can you try to upload it under the trusted says the other one? I think you try to upload just one.
Sure.
Did you search C8 on the top?
Upload this one? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, looks like that took it.
Yeah, can you try again the primary?
Sure. And then do this .crt, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it took
There
it,
you go.
looks like.
So you required the root and intermediate certificates. That's a bundle that you got. One of the ones that you got from the user is actually the same one that Microsoft requires and we share. That's why you already had that on the list, but you needed to upload also the other one provided from the users.
Okay,
And
and
as
it
you
looks
see,
like the,
it is
yep.
it has a secure connection now. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, so second, let me move this window here. Here. Now, I wanted to show you this. For some of you, or the tenant will already be able to communicate, and you will have this green section now on the Microsoft Teams. That means that the communication is good and healthy, and you will not longer have any TLS issue to communicate with Microsoft. In case that you do have, you will see a red label there, and you will have. We would need to do an additional troubleshooting. Just 1 second for that. Something important is that under Settings tab, you can also monitor the number of SIP messages that each one of the signaling groups are handling. So, for example, if I go into the Microsoft Teams one, you see that there are a lot of options used by Microsoft and for the SBC to confirm the communication. There is a lot of outgoing where we did not get any kind of response because we were failing on the TLS handshake. And after we applied the certificates, the counters started to increase smoothly and together. If you see, I have incoming options from Microsoft in this case, and I'm sending the same number of responses I can reset the counters to get this all set to 0 again. And after, there you go. We are getting options and we are sending options out. So that is healthy and that is working out. Okay. That's just another way that you can monitor the SBC. So basically, that's all the configuration required from the Microsoft direct routing on the SBC perspective, the SBC that you are getting and own it. And the next step is to do the configuration on the tenant space. So basically, we're done on the SBC. So I'm moving into my admin center for Microsoft 365. Everyone has access to this, right? So just posting the links to the pages directly. So let me know once everyone is on there. Just remember that in this case, as we are setting up the phone system, the user you are using to access this admin center should have global admin rights. So you are actually able to do the modifications on the users, on the phone systems, on permissions, that kind of things. Okay. One second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So everyone is on this page now. So at the end we will send also these slides with you. It has again some insights on where to navigate to get the certificates, information about the supported certificates from Microsoft, how to upload the certificates. Yeah, this chart is intended to show a little bit on how the routing engine on the SBC works. Okay. Right now, all the configuration was done with the wizard. That includes the signaling group, the transformation table, and the egress signaling group. This is how it works when it's trying to route a call. We accept the traffic from the signaling group. It does a matching under the call information that could be calling or call number or many other fields. Let me show you here. By default, and what I mentioned is that as this is just a basic scenario done with the wizard, it creates pass-through tables that actually will allow any kind of traffic. It will check it, but as it is configured with a wildcard, any kind of traffic will be accepted. You can always modify this. It uses a regex engine to match this information. And these are all the fields that can be used to match to allow the calls to be processed. Okay. So okay, we're almost there. Going back into the Microsoft Admin Center. To set up direct routing, the first thing you have to do is to set up the domain that you own. So Microsoft recognizes it and knows it. You owned it and you will be using it. Under this page, if you see all of the options of the menu, let me rephrase this because I think you probably just see a few of the options of the items in the list. If you click on show all, you will have all the options there. We need to go into the settings tab and domains. Here you will have listed some of the domains that are used for your tenant. And here we will need to set up the domain of our SBCs. Okay, so I will add a domain. In this case, my domain is Training RBBN Lab. Use this domain. So here again, the ones that are using RBBN Lab domain, I will need you to give me the TXT verification code that the platform will provide you. You can, for example, once you're here and how do you want to connect, add my own DNS records. And this will give me the TXT information to connect with the domain. So once you're here, once you're there, please share with me the options, the TXT information that I should add and the DNS, so you can verify that access. In my case, as I already had the main domain here, it will not require to add the TXT, but for you it will. So let me know once you have that. Okay, thanks, Scott.
So we're adding a domain, rbbnlab.com.
That should be the complete domain of your SBC. The complete FQDN of your SBC.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Scott. You're added. So give it a couple of seconds and you can verify it again. Anyone else has the TXT ready?
Huh.
Is anyone still working on getting this information? I know we
Yes, I'm
have-
still working on mine.
Okay, great.
If you have any kind of issue and you want to share your screen so we can take a look at it. Okay, Nelson, thanks.
Mahesh and Ravan and Yaswant, are you guys still with us? Are you still trying to do that?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm just trying to checking into the Microsoft Office 365 admin. For us, it was not there. So admin.microsoft.com. There we don't have access.
So do you have an issue with 365 access?
Yes, that's good.
Jorge, do we have any solution for that?
Well, you're trying to use your own tenant, right? What we could recommend if you do, it's using the link that Julia shared at the beginning to create a new tenant, new 365 tenant, trial tenant, so you can have that directly. Let me see this one.
Yeah, Mahesh, don't use your Converge One resources. Use personal.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the option would be to create a new one if from scratch, the free trial option. That could be up to you if you want to do that.
Okay. No. Okay.
Scott Nelson, were you able to confirm the domain to verify the owning of the domain?
I was able to.
Yes. Let's see, I'm getting error though when I try to, so I'm continuing my setup. And I select more options. And it says, how do you want to connect your domain?
Oh, you can actually disable the services. You will not be using that for the direct routing, at least for this training. That is not required. And if you want to share your screen, I can tell you exactly.
Oh, okay.
Let me go through it.
Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll go back to here.
Okay, go to more options. Choose add your own DNS records. Okay. You can just exchange on the top. You can uncheck that exchange and exchange like online protection.
Okay, let's see.
The check option on the top of that screen. The blue,
this one.
the blue, yes. Click on continue. There you go. That's all.
Easy after somebody tells you how to fix your problem. Okay, done. Oh, it just says incomplete. Or
can you refresh it?
I'll refresh it first. Let's see. Go back to I thought I already did that. All right, so go back to domains. Oh,
Yeah, that works.
right here. No services selected.
Yep, that's okay. Services for Microsoft is kind of the email option of service, Skype, kind of this all Microsoft additional options and applications that can have. For the Microsoft Teams and direct routing, no, none of those are required. So you are good to go there.
Okay, so we're good like this?
Yes. Yes, we're good.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Okay, did anyone else have any kind of issue, any question? Okay, perfect. So our next step, Microsoft requires to have one user at least with that domain, so it can enable on the backend the phone system for the ones that will be using it. So now on the same page, go to the user section.
Jorge, you're not sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks. I forgot it completely. So you can see my screen now, right?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, so under the same section, we need to go now under user section and go to active users. You see I have a lot of users in here. What I will do, let's create a new user. I just will name it training deck. Automatically will give me a display name. And I will select under the domains, the one that you just added. In this case, mine is trainingdr.ribbonlab.com. And I will automatically create a new password for it. Please create a user with those characteristics. You just the important thing here is that you select the domain that you just added into your tenant. Again, this is because on the backend, Microsoft requires at least one user with that domain, so it can enable the phone system and being able to add the SBC into the tenant. And that's just a requirement there. In the real world, usually what is done is the domain added is the main domain. That would be only rbbnlab.com and the domain of the FQDN of the SBC. So you will have those two. And usually the users will have the domain of the main domain. So and users will have something like this, their name and the main domain, rbbnlab.com. So once I put all that information in there, just click on next. This is important. Here we will assign the licenses for the phone system. Remember that you would need to have the E5 license or the E3 and the add-on for phone system. In this case, we recommend to have the E5 directly. Just click on next. I will not change the administration access to it. It will just be a user, simple user for this, not admin. Just leave this by default. Click on next. Overview of the information and finish adding. And there I got my password and my username. This is the one that I will be using to test the tenant. So here. Any questions, issues? Let me know once everyone has the user created.
Mahesh, were you able to get access to 365?
No, no, ma'am. So I'm just going through the training documents and the training session that he is telling me right now. It is asking me to sign out from the existing account and do right from the scratch. So that is the reason.
If you want to work with two different accounts at the same time, some browsers allow to have profiles on them. I'm in Chrome, for example, and I have three profiles here. If I have one window open with one of the profiles and create a new one or open a guest one, it will not come with the same account, and I will be able to have two different ones at the same time. So that probably would help for you.
Oh, okay. Good to know that, sir.
Yeah, for example, here I'm in the training profile, but if I open a guest one and if I go exactly to the same admin portal, Teams. Teams Microsoft. If I go to the same one, it will ask me to log in. So you can have these two accounts on at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, for the Microsoft 365 perspective, again, that's everything what needs to be done to allow the phone system. It only needs to be aware of the domain and have a user with that domain or under that domain, main domain. So it actually enables in the backend the configuration. Last step, it's under the Microsoft Teams side. So I'm copying this. And here you go. There is a path to do complete the configuration of this phone system on the Teams Admin Center. We have this diagram what we will be doing to allow the direct routing. First thing is to add the SBC into the SBC list for direct routing. We will need to have a voice route and a PSTN usage created so it can assign it to the users. A voice routing policy. We will assign that voice routing policy to the Microsoft Teams users. We will create a dial plan and normalization rules. That is mainly for the managing of the dialing on the app. So Microsoft requires to use the E.154 format for all the calls. So this will allow you to create a personalized dial plan. So all the calls will have that format when going out from Microsoft. We will assign that dial plan, and then we will be able to do the test. So let me know once you're ready, if you want to start with that. Okay, thanks, Nelson. Rowan. Okay, so on the Teams Admin Center, you will have the menu on the left side again. There is a voice section, and here is where mainly all the configuration for the voice system is done. Under voice, you will have the direct routing section. And there you will have the list of the SBCs that you want to use, that you're using, or where you can add a new entry. In this case, this is what we will be doing. Add a new entry. Here I will copy the FQDN of my SBC. I will enable it, and I need to match with the configuration of the SBC. If you remember, I configured it to communicate with default port 5061. So I'm just matching that information, and all the other fields I can leave them as a default. Not need to add anything special here. If you want to go deep and go do some media bypass configuration, etc., that can be done directly here. But for the purpose of this training, we can just leave it like that. Enable this SBC and match the signaling port. I go to save it. There you go. You should have something like this: an active TLS connection and an active SIB option status. Let me know if you have any issue with that, or if you are not able to add the entry. Usually, when you have issues adding this SBC, is related to the FQDN not being on the tenant. You will have an error message about that domain is not set up on your tenant, and you need to come back to the Microsoft 365 and confirm that you have the correct information under the domains, and we recommend to have the user set up. Sometimes what I've seen is that when the domain is added and everything, it looks good, not services selected, but the domain is already on the list, but they don't create the user, they will still have that issue on creating and adding this SBC. So just so you are aware of that are like the common issues that you might have in this section. Okay, so
what if we're getting the TLS connectivity status says inactive and SIP options say warning?
Okay, that usually it's for an issue with the TLS connectivity. Usually what needs to be checked is the certificates that are correctly set up on the SBC, that certificates and the FQDN shared by the SBC matches the host name and the domain setup on the Microsoft tenant, and that you have the required certificate from Microsoft, in this case the root cert.
Yeah, I put them all in the right way. So I thought.
Yeah. So for example, Nelson, yours look good. Scott, if you want to share your screen, we can take a look at it. Also, to be honest, there are some times where Microsoft it takes some time. We just saw that last week on Thursday, there was an issue. At least it appears to be an issue on the Teams tenant, but on the TLS inactive, RBB on lab. Okay, that looks good. Can you go back to your SBC, please? Can you click on counters?
on the Team Zero routing line. On the on the first entry of that table.
Yeah, I
Counters
clicked on it here. Hang on, let me share it out.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Those are for the border element. I need to see the same page, but for the Teams signaling group.
Okay. Sorry, which one do I need to click on here?
Yeah, under that line, Teams direct routing. On the right side of the up label, there is a counters section.
For the border element here?
No, for the Teams direct routing on the top. It's a green label on the top.
Oh, right up here. Sorry.
Yes, no problem.
Let me share this screen here.
Okay, that looks good. If you can reset the counters, to me it looks like the reset is on the left side on the top. So all the numbers will go back to 0. And you can refresh it to see once you get the new options. There you go. So they are increasing evenly on the responses and requests. So that looks healthy. Sometimes for Microsoft, it takes a little bit of time to get all the information together and to actually show a correct and healthy status on the portal. But from this, I can tell you that the communication looks good. So it is working right now. Yeah. So let's give it just a couple of minutes more and you should see everything working in there. Okay, so next step on the tenant, we already added the SBC. Now we need to add the voice route and the PSTN usage. Under this same page for direct routing, on the right side of SBC section, we have the voice route section. We will add a new one. We can add the name you want. Usually we finish that with VR just to clarify that it is VR instance, voice route instance. And dial pattern number, I recommend to use a wildcard to not get in trouble into what kind of regex we need to use for a specific match. We can just use the wildcard for this test, so everything will be handled. SBC enrolled, we need to select the SBC that we just added. So the training for me. And PSTN usage, we can directly create one here. So PSTN training. And remember to select it, because even if you create that and put the name, if you don't select it, it's like if you just didn't choose anything, even if the instance was created. So with that information together, I just click on save. And my entry is here now. Everyone's good now?
I stepped away just to, I had to use the restroom. So
Oh, yeah.
after I'd added SBC.
Yeah. Next step is to create the voice route and PSTN usage. Under the same page where you added the SBC, you
Yes.
have the voice route section.
Take a look. Oh yeah, okay, yep. I got local route.
Yeah,
And-
that comes by default, but you can always add a new one.
Add a new route.
On dial pattern number, you can, for example, use a local route that it's a regex that requires 10 digits plus the and the +1 at the beginning. So the E14064 format.
Yep.
But what I just mentioned is that you can leave this as a wildcard, so you don't have to worry about what kind of information you are dialing. Just for the test purposes, always you can go back and do the modifications here and specify a regex and that kind of things. But you can leave this just as a wildcard.
Oh, okay. And then add
There-
PSTN records.
Yeah, for the PSTN usage, you can add one directly from the table on the list. Just remember to select the one that you created, because if not, you will create it, but you will not add it into this voice route. Rowan, I think you have a question.
Yes, sir. I created my voice route, but I deleted my local route inside of my tenant. Is that going to lead to any issues or no?
Not really. That comes by default. But no, you can actually, if you see here, I have that way down, so it was not used for quite some time, and you can delete it, no problem. It
And
is just a default route that comes directly with the tenant.
And that's not going to cause any issues with my calling plan users inside of the tenant, correct? If that local
Not
route is
in-
deleted.
Not in this case, because we will be using all the new created instances, so no users will be linked to this local route.
Okay, unless we assign the policy. Understood. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. So once we have the voice route, we need to go into the policy, voice routing policy. On the menu that's on the bottom of the voice section, voice routing policies. So again, on the menu, voice routing policies. You will have this table, probably empty or with the global option by default. We need to create a new one. And on PSTN usage records, we will select now the one that we just created. I think it was this one. And save. So mine is here, the PSTN they just created. And now we can assign directly this to the user, but I will start with the dial plan, so we go just once into the user page. Under voice again, we go now to dial plan section. And this one, I will not create a new one, but you will have to create a new entry. Just click on add, name it, and I will give you what you need to add into the normalization tables. Okay, Mahesh, I can work on that, and I will go back to Julia to provide you all that information and update also the create a special document with that information.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Because in general, what we do is I'm from SPC background, so
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I'm pretty familiar with it. But related to the Teams Admin Center, I'm quite new. So
Yeah,
just wanted
completely
to
understand.
just wanted to follow your recording session one more time after this, so that I can go through all the options one by one. Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, so once you're in this page and you name it, you will need to add some normalization rules. I will give you the ones that I just have. So you will have this kind of view, just name it. In this case, what the first one does is to add a plus. You need to select the rule creation mode advanced. If condition and paste these regex. Then do this. What this project is doing is when the user dials a number with a country code 1, but doesn't include the plus, it will add it into the number dialed. For example, if I use this number just for test, I'm starting with a 1 for the country code of the US. And I test it, my output will be a +1 and the number that I just dialed. So that's the first one we need to add. And the second one, it will add a +1 with 10 digits. Again, rule creation mode and advanced. If condition, now I'm using this regex. So in this case, when the user dials a 10-digit number, only the 10-digit number, it will add the country code on the beginning. So it is under the E164 format that is required by Microsoft. Once you're finished with that, you will have a table like this under normalization rules. Just click on save and that will be ready. I will be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Everyone was able to add these two rules. No issues. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So just save that, and you will have the entry under your dial plans. Now, last step. Yeah, Rawan, tell me.
If you had multiple SBCs, you can share that dial plan, correct? So if you had 10,000 users off one SBC and you sign it to that SBC, you could just share the same dial plan if you're doing all the same +1s, correct?
Yes, actually, the dial plan specifically is linked to the users, not to the SBCs.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I just wanted to confirm. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Actually, here you will have a list of the users that have this. And if you see, I have, well, different entries here assigned. Okay. Now, last step will be to assign the dial plan and the voice routing policy to the user. So that's done under Microsoft Teams Center. Go to user section and manage users. I think I have a filter. So the user that you just created should be listed in here. Here's mine. Okay, so I need to add the policies. Under the table of the options for this user, policies is almost the last one. I go there and click on edit. Now this looks a little messy, but we need to be we need to set only some of them, some specific ones. First section to change will be calling policy. We need to change it to allow calling. Let me copy that so you can have it. Select calling policy, allow calling. Select dial plan, the one that you just created. And the last one will be select voice routing policy. And you will need to select the voice routing policy that you just created. With that ready, we just need to click on apply. Only are those three sections for the phone system for direct routing. Okay, now I need to set Okay, last thing we will do is to assign the phone numbers under the same user. On the account section, the first section where you land into it, you have general information. You click on edit and you can assign a phone number in there. We do have some DIDs for you. So can you raise your hand if you are ready to assign a number? I will provide you one number. You just need to pull that information here and click on apply. There you go. Okay, so Nelson will be 91. Scott will be 92. Raghavan will be 93. Oh, sorry. There you go. Someone else? Who's setting the call right now? Okay. So that would be everything. The phone number is assigned. And that is everything on the configuration on the team side. Now I remember we are trying to do this like the complete scenario. In this case, I still need to do some configuration as if I was the SIP trunk provider. So this is the last step before we can actually test it. Okay. So this one changes. I think one of you asked me, what if I need to do additional configurations? So I will make this bigger. Usually when you have to do modification, this is my central SBC. Usually when you need to modify some things, you need to work on pretty much all the sections that was configured before. I'm showing you right now what I'm doing to add all these kind of configurations manually. So I already have my signaling group ready, communicating with my central with my SBC for this test. Now I need under my SIP section, my SIP server table. This will tell the SBC where to send out the where to send out the traffic. So this one, it's CR-Train, that's good. This, not really, I'm changing this name. I apply that, okay. So now, this was, that's an SVC. This will be SCART SVC. Yeah, thanks, Jasper. That's a really good page for testing the regex. All right. Okay, so Nelson SVC.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck on assigning phone number. I am not able to.
What did you get?
Let me share my desktop. Oops, scored. Okay, so I'm here, and I want to assign a phone number.
Oh, okay. That should be what
He needs to drop down to direct routing.
What licenses? What licenses does this user has? Can you go?
Have? Let me go close all this.
Can you go to the Microsoft 365 admin page?
Yes. Right here, let me scroll down. And this is the user right here. And right, and licenses is where the heck is?
Hey Nelson, go into Admin Center. You're in Teams Admin Center still for the licenses.
Oh, I'm still in no, the 365 admin center. Okay, here we go. Right here.
And then click
The
that license tab.
Yeah, that's right. All right, E5.
Take off calling plans. Uncheck that.
Oh, we don't
Domestic
need
and
calling
international.
because we got that's right. Okay, because we got direct routing. Right, that should be good. And if I go back to Teams Admin Center, right? And I'll refresh. Maybe just one of those things that takes a little bit of time. I think we're gonna edit. It still doesn't have a direct routing.
You may want to log out and log back in if it'll clear the cache. So it'll force an update. Inside attack.
Instead of tap. Here.
Yeah, just try to sign out and sign back in.
All right.
It might clear the cache and then it'll force the UI change.
All right, let me just do this. Let me sign out. All right, if I go back to the user again. All right, and licenses are good. All right, so let's see. Close these damn windows. Close it.
Okay, that looks good.
I gotta log back into it. Hold on a second. All right, so I'm back in. Let me go to the admin center. All right, so. All right, so I gotta go, now I gotta go to tab, right? Go to tab. Okay. All right. If I go in here, oh, now it shows up. You're right. Look. Direct routing. Do I just put that number in there? The 10-digit number?
Yes, that's gonna be the DID. So the extension ending in 91.
All right. Let me find that message here. Oh, it's right here.
That's good. No, so yeah.
Right. Is this a 10-digit number? Do I need one? I don't need one in front of it though, right? That's the country code.
I put one on my side.
Yes,
You
you would
need it?
Yeah.
For our lab.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just leave it alone. Right here. And so now I say apply. It should work now. Wait. All right.
Yeah, and
now I got a phone number
here too.
So now I should just place a call.
Yeah, you should be able to do that now. I just finished the configuration on the Trump group side. So last step is to do that test.
Right. So I should go back to here.
Yes, Scott.
Oh, I still can't. I can't place a call yet.
Okay, give me 1 second. We will troubleshoot that. So I have this. You should be able to see the number in there. Okay. So Rawan, I see a call on something happening in your call. Actually, Rawan's call went through. Scott.
Yeah, my calls are just dropping.
Yeah, I'm checking right now if that is hidden. Can you try again, please?
Sure. And it dropped.
It dropped. Okay. It is not hitting the central SBC. So can you share your screen? We will troubleshoot that on your side.
Sure.
So you know, I'm trying to do my test here. Okay. Okay, let me see your SBC, please.
Okay. SBC.
Yes. Can you open the counters for the Teams direct routing? No, under the signaling groups folder on the top is the second option.
Yep.
Okay, open that and let me see the counters. Okay, one's coming. Okay. Can you open the same counters but for the border element, please? Let's Okay, we will need to take a look on what is happening there. I will show you how to get logs so we can see actually the traffic and how the call is managed. On the menu, well, first,
By default, the logs are not running on the SVC, so it is not burning any kind of additional space on the memory or additional CPU resources. Okay, so to configure that, on the menu, almost on the last entry, it's logging configuration folder.
Okay.
Open that. Open diagnostics logging, and go to by subsystem. So we need to configure the subsystems that we want to get information from. That could be with the Green Plus, but I recommend to do that on the apply log profile. That's because the Green Plus will add only one subsystem at a time. If you click on that on there, or apply log profile, you can choose a bundle of them that will give you information in common for a specific scenario. Change audio zip to signaling zip. Click on OK. So now we have information that will be provided on the logs on the logs files with the correct level of information on log level. Now go to Diagnostics tab to see that file. The second option on the left, Local System Logs. So here you will have the list of the files. You will have up to 6 files, and you can rotate the file. Please rotate it so we have a fresh look of information there. On the right side, there is a rotate button. Okay, now test a new code, please.
All right. Okay.
Okay, it disconnected. Go back to the SBC.
Okay.
And refresh the page. You see how it increases? Okay, now with the toggle, open the web.log file. If it is small enough, you will be able to see the information that was written in there. If it is quite big and it doesn't allow you to see the information, you can always download it directly. So can you do a command Control F and look for invite space zip? Okay, so there you go. That's the call. It's information that it's received from Microsoft Server. Okay, click enter to see the next entry, please. Okay, sending it to okay, why I'm not seeing it? Okay, give me 1 second. Maybe I wrote it wrong here. Can you scroll down a little bit? I want to see if there is any kind of response. A little bit more. A little bit more. I want to see, scroll down until you see the next zip message information. They're not found. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, wait. Can you go back to the invite that it's going on the top? Yeah, that one. No, yeah, that one. Okay, you see you're sending an anonymous information. Can you go to the first invite? Okay, that it's coming. Okay, so that it's coming anonymous from Teams. Okay, we need to modify that so you can actually do the call. Right now, let me show you. I'll give you. I need to find out how to change that. But right now, what I'm using to allow the calls is I'm trying to match the call numbers. You see, I'm using the specific call number, and that's what my SBC is trying to match on the request that comes. So right now, as you are sending an anonymous information, my SBC is not recognizing it because it doesn't find your number on the invite. Okay. So we need to search for how to check it. Can you share again and show us your policies and dial plans on the Teams admin center? Okay. Can you go to the user you have set?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you scroll down a little bit? I'm not sure why it's sending it like that. Okay, okay. To be honest, I'm not sure how to modify that so you can actually share the number. But let's do this. I will modify yours. So I will match the call number instead of the calling number, okay?
Okay.
So you can test the call directly. Okay, that's so Scott. You have number 92. I will share again so you see what I'm doing now. What I will do is instead of matching the calling number right now, I will disable this. I will not check it. Can you share what's the number you're trying to call?
303-720-9860.
60. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can you repeat it again, please?
303
Mhm.
720 9860.
So just in case. Let's see it again. Okay. Okay. Transmission to- Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay, can you try again, please?
Sure. Just rings in Teams. It doesn't ring my cell phone.
Okay. Let's see what happened there. I saw the call here, so. I think I know what happened. I think I know what to do. Okay, so this one. Here we go to invite. It's fine, it's found, okay. Okay. Why is it not found? Oh, this time, sorry, were you trying to call to the Teams phone?
No, well, I did try and call once to the Teams phone, but I'm trying to call from Teams to my cell phone now.
Okay, let me rotate this because I saw other things in there. Can you try the call again?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Okay, that went out. I think that worked, right?
No, it did not ring my phone.
Didn't. So I have a session in progress here. This is on the other side. See what happened here. $60. Okay, the thing is that you're sending this number as cold number, okay. Anonymous here, so it should be 60. Kind of messing up something.
Can I check the SIP profile where the contact should be the static one? So which is assigned towards the team side. Settings.
Oh yeah, it's got that I think that's under the team center, right?
Yes, yeah. No, on the SBC side, settings.
Okay.
And scroll down to the SIP. Scroll down, yeah, in the SIP one, left side. SIP. On the left panel, there is the SIP, right? And the tree, under the
Yes.
tree, protocol, yeah. Okay, here the one which we have assigned, okay, the SIP profile. Okay, it's the contact is also should be static, right? This is the server table. Okay, and we need to check the SIP profiles just above that, above the SIP server table. The SIP profile, yeah. The one which we have assigned for the teams.
Yeah,
Okay.
the problem here is that we are well, at least this SBC, and from what I saw in the Scott log, we are getting the anonymous directly from Teams.
Okay, from team side, okay.
Yeah, so that is coming directly from there. Yeah, what I'm trying to check now is because at least here I see the call being processed and sent out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me 1 second. I will ask something. One second, I'll be right back. It's happening here because we're something else. Yeah, that's just. Okay. That's it. That's it. Okay. Okay, I think I might see what happens.
Okay.
Scott, can you share your screen again?
Yeah, I think that T-Mobile's blocking the call. Yeah, T-Mobile's blocking the call.
Okay.
That's what's going on. At least at this point, that's what's going on.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so far I saw on the log that the call is being passed on the SBC. So that was not blocked on there anymore. So I think, yeah, probably right now for some security things or something like this, as these DIDs are used are used for the training and are not kind of purchased directly, might be identified as fraudulent, but well, that's not the case in this. Probably, you would like to test to another phone number?
We could try another one.
Yeah, let me know what's it, and I will change the configuration.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
Do you have any idea why Teams is sending it anonymous?
Okay, right now I just did the configuration. Could you test? And for that, I'm pretty sure that should be any kind of policy that we are missing. To be honest, I'm not that well versed on Microsoft Teams complete configuration. We might be missing something. I think
In
actually,
Teams Admin Center, you can set up a caller ID policy to change it from anonymous if it's set.
yeah, I think Rawan actually shares some information on that. We might be able to check that too.
Yeah, I was able to make that.
That worked.
Yeah.
Perfect.
On my side, I'm able to call out, but inbound calls don't work. So if I call the number, it does not work. I don't know if that's just me.
Okay, checking that because that might be also on the from Microsoft Intune.
I don't get any ringing. It just tries to make the call, then automatically disconnects if I go cell phone to that extension 93 number.
Okay. Check it right now. So what's the two last digits from your phone? It's 90. It's 93.
For mine is 93, correct?
Can you try the code again, please?
It's not taking it. I also tried to call Nelson's phone number, and it was doing the same thing,
Okay.
where it does not ring. I could try Scott's number as well.
Yeah, I think I messed up something here. For root, I'm sharing the screen again. So I just did again I rotated and just logged the call that you were trying to do. Here I see we received it. The problem is that we are responding and not found. So I messed something with the regex. Okay. That's coming from the border element. Coroutine table I use is from zip trunk. So this one. So I'm trying to use this number. Let me see if I copy it actually right. Settings. Plus 163 colon. Yay. It's